van's finally gone into the garage. And a very good morning. So I said I wasn't going to buy any more tools. Keep buying tools. I've got more tools than Toolstation. However, somebody mentioned to me a few weeks ago about plastic finishing trowels. We have purchased one. Okay, I've managed to squeeze a rather worn down ox trowel into it. Now Rafina have come up with this really cunning plan of, we'll make these and sell them. However, our lovely well-made wharf trowels don't fit in them. So you have to buy another trowel to fit in to your plastic finishing trowel. Great idea. Good way of selling more products. Well done. So I've got this rather worn down ox trowel and kind of forced it in there because I want to try this out. And if I like plastic trowel for finishing, I'll order a whole bundle of Rafina plastic trowel and the correct raw trowel to go in it. And we'll take it from there. Simple way. Don't try doing it this way if you've got carpets down. And we'll use the big beast. There we go. This is nice and runny. So we've got a minute or two now to scrape out the remainder of the plaster in the bucket, wash the bucket, etc., etc. Right. So again, don't forget we've got to prime up the old fork there. So put a bit on. Work it in there. And that way, when I put my plaster on, it isn't just going to go off and hit the floor. Right, this should go quick, so I've got my Go Faster trousers on. So we're going to be finishing this off this week, and then next week we're back on the lime. You'll be pleased to know, or maybe not. Back on the old Trollboat Cottage on the line pointing. I could have started that this week, but I want to get this finished for her. I did promise that I'd have it done by the end of this week for her, because I think they've got the kitchen coming. So yeah, because of the shape of this wall, I'm going to have to play about with it and go both ways with the trowel to try and fill out the sort of major dips and kind of feather everything in and make it look flat, although it won't be flat. I mean, I'd love to have been able to take it all back to brick and start again with it, but yeah, you can't always do what you want, can you? Might end up having to to put this coat on, straighten it up best we can, fill it out, let it pull right in, and then put another coat on it, flatten that off, and then put another one on top of that, just to try and get some sort of finish on it. It is in a state. Right, so that's on now. So we've got the old speed skim. I remember years ago on a site we were told that we had to go over the finish that was on a sand cement float we'd done. We had to go over it with our derbies, fill out any low spots, go over it with the derby again, and then second coat it. It was Clockworks on site who insisted on it. I mean, he was checking the floats. He was going along the wall like that and looking down the edge of his straight edge every foot, something like that, and then going up to make sure they were perfect. And then we had to get the skimming perfect. It was a pain in the arse. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to start at the top with it. Now, we're not flattening off with this. What we're doing, we're trying to straighten up. So, we're looking for any low spots. We're keeping it on a shallow angle. There we go, right to the corner. And back again. Again, a shallow angle on the speed skim. We don't need to go right to the corner this time, so we've already done that. Come down the wall and repeat the process. Now we know that bottom's not too bad because we dabbed that. You can go up there. Couple of little low spots on the bottom. Nothing major, so it's not actually as bad as it feels. Right, so that's actually not as bad as I thought. Just the odd little deep bit, which I'll just lob a bit of stuff in there and straighten it up with the trowel. We'll let it pull in and then give it another straighten up. Let it pull in a bit more and then second coat it. And we'll come back to you at the stage of second coating. Right, catch you in a little while. Well, we're just having a minute to let the plaster pull in before we plan it off. I just want to say a big thank you to everybody that has subscribed over the last 12 months. I really do appreciate it. We've now moved up past the 1,000 mark. Last time I had a quick look, I think it was 1,011 subscribers so far, which is excellent. We're going to keep going. Hopefully more of you will subscribe. I'm going to try and make the videos more entertaining for you. There's going to be a variety of different jobs coming up, so it's not just going to be skimming and bits like that. You know, we've got the line pointing to do, we've jobs with stonework, we've got all sorts coming up, including some line plastering. In fact, there's some line plastering to do on this particular job at some point. So keep checking in to the channel. And don't forget, one of the most important things that we need you to be doing is hitting the like button. It doesn't cost anything. You know, it's just get your remote control, or if you're watching it on your laptop or your phone, you know, just hit the appropriate keys and buttons and things and make sure that you've liked the video. The reason being is, if you hit the like button, the more likes that the video gets, the more YouTube's logarithms put it out there, so more people can see it. And hopefully more people can then subscribe to the channel. Eventually, once the channel has started gaining revenue, we can start doing things like a bit of merch for you, some stickers and that kind of stuff, you know. But I want the channel to grow a bit more before I start investing in that sort of thing. Anyway, like I said, a big thank you to everybody that has subscribed so far. I really do appreciate it. I'll put these videos out there for you. I know a lot of you do enjoy them, and a lot of you are learning bits and pieces off them, which is fab. Right, so we've now let this set in. As you can see, it's not leaving any marks from my hand, so it's gone quite stiff now. It's still wet. Oh, you see there, it's still wet. But reason I've left it so long is because we've got some areas on there where the finish is quite thick. And if I was to go on those while this was still quite wet, quite loose, we're going to end up with what we call blebbing, which are like little blisters that appear. And they're a bit of a nightmare to get rid of. An easy way to get rid of them, by the way, is use a sponge float. Yeah, you got some blebs, put a sponge float over it, and then leave it a little bit, and then go over it with your layered on trowel, and it should bring them out. But yeah, so we left it a while so we don't get the blebbing on the thick spots. Now, the second coat will adhere to this well, because this isn't by no means dry. You know, I mean, if I was to drag my finger down that with a bit of pressure, it'd bring it off. You know, so it's still soft and pliable. Right, let's get the second coat on and see if we can't get this wall something like. And then in a while, we can have a go with this new plastic finishing trowel. Exciting. Okay, so on we go now with the second coat. Now this is gonna fill out any little discrepancies that are in that finish that's already on. This is the finished finish. I've done this stuff a bit wetter than the first coat. Purely because there's going to be a little bit of suction on this now. Not a lot, but there's going to be enough. Apologies if all you can see at the moment is my back. Obviously I have to get the stuff on the wall. Making sure we're putting it on thick enough. Don't want it really thin, because all we'll be doing then is bringing it off when we're troweling up. We don't want that. A little bit of a dip again at that top there. There we go. You can see this stuff is, you know, it's very runny. And the reason I've done it runny is, like I said, it's because I've left this one for quite some time now. There'll be a little bit of suction in it. I don't want it to suck in too fast because I want to mess around with this and get it straight as I can. So if I do a wettish mix, yeah, it slows you down a bit awkward to use, but I know it's not going to suck in straight away. It's got that little bit of time. I mean, I've worked in some places, honestly. I've had to sign that official secrets act so many damn times, you know, from secret facilities owned by government, British Aerospace, United Utilities, you name it. I've done work on their premises and enjoyed every minute of it. Worked on schools, on hospitals, prisons. I did a job in a prison. Well, I've done 2 jobs in prisons. That was a bit Bit of an eye-opener, I've got to admit. Court buildings, had to do that at night. We were working down in the cells in the night, right through the night. Start at 6 p.m. and work through till 6 a.m. We found a good Chinese down the road, so each night we'd order a takeout and get it delivered to the court, which was nice. And then try and sleep all day when you get home, with all the noise of life going by to keep you awake. Worked on universities, that's been good. You know, I joke sometimes that I went to Liverpool Uni and people say, oh, what did you study? I said, plastering. It's like, I didn't know you could do a degree in plastering. It's like, yeah, I didn't really. I did some work there. Yes, all over the place. The good old days. Those I miss. I do miss. Pub revamps, they were a good one. Done a lot of them. I still get one now and again. I do enjoy them. They're a challenge. Very fast pace of working. I was doing a pub once, and there was a corridor ceiling, and I just skimmed it. I got my second coat on, and I flattened it off. And I thought, right, while I'm waiting for it to pull in, I'm going to go and get me my cup of tea. Because you never get a minute when you're doing the pubs. So anyway, wandered to other end of the site. They've got one of them big water boiler things there for making your brew. Made me brew up, walked back, and there's a decorator, and he stood on the planking steps I had set up for skimming this ceiling, and he's whistling, and he's putting some wallpaper on like this with his brush. And I went, whoa, what are you doing? I said, I've not travelled it up yet. And he went, be right. And that was my own local pub that I was working on. And it's still up today, that paper, and that's 20 odd years, 25 years ago. Well, there you go. Oh, yeah. You know, I've been skimming walls and our joiners coming to put dado rails on. You're like, I've not finished yet. Give us a minute. Yeah, very fast moving to the pubs. I did a new build pub in Bolton town centre, and they called us in early. We actually thought we'd gone to the wrong site when we turned up because they were still building the floors above. And I thought, it's got to be right, this, you know. So I went to the site office and said, plasterers, I'm going to do it for an agency then. And he said, oh, yeah, that's right, yeah. He says, it's the basement. He says, all the walls need sand cement float. So that's what we're on with. We moved up a bit later on to the main pub. But it was middle of winter. And every morning they were getting fog rolling in off the moors above the town, you know, of Bolton. And this fog used to come in the building. So if your mate was working down the far end, you couldn't see him. You could hear him, but you couldn't see him. It was completely fogged in on the job. Very strange. A bit eerie as well. But I recall one morning on that particular pub in Bolton, and this plasterer working, we teamed up for a bit. Teddy was called. And he used to have this old donkey jacket and no buttons on it. So he used to put his hands in his pocket and like that. Well, he come in it morning, he's got this pint of milk in his pocket. So he squeezed his hand around it, and then his hand's gone in the other pocket, and he's pulled this coat together. And it's pitch black. And he's walking along, and I'm talking to him. And I'm sort of like, I forget what I was saying, you know, it's years ago. But it's like, anyway, what do you think, Ted? No answer. I turn around, he's gone. Where the bloody hell's he gone? I'm like, Ted, where are you? He shouts, I'm in the basement. I thought, how the hell? He can't. How can he get in the basement? He's round there. He only fallen out of a bloody hole, haven't he? And straight down into the basement. It was all right. bit shaken, but it was all right. But I got down there, like I rushed down, and said, "You all right?" He says, "Yeah, I've not broke the milk." And we're back in the broom. There you go, speed skim, nice and wet. So why the speed skim? Well, it's a lot quicker. Saves a lot of time. I mean, to flatten all that by, well, say by hand, you're doing it by hand with that, I suppose, aren't you? But to do it with the trowel, for example, you know, it's time consuming. You're up and down off your hop up or your steps, and you know, you're only covering a small area. Whereas this, you've got a full meter, you know, and just across. They do take some getting used to when you've never used one. When I first bought this, well, when I first bought it, it had the plastic one on. I didn't like it. Didn't like the plastic at all. So I invested in a stainless steel blade. But when I first bought it, I couldn't get on with them. You know, I was all over the place with it, leaving marks everywhere and digging chunks out of it. And I thought, no, persevere, persevere. So I did, and eventually I got to that point where, yeah, I enjoyed using it. But I need to buy tools again. I need to invest in some smaller ones, you know, because this is great, but it's absolutely useless if you want to do, say, for example, a window reveal or, you know, get into a small area. It's too big for it. So I need to get some smaller ones. I was looking the other day, but I don't buy any at the minute. I've got this damn one to pay for. Ooh, I'm dreading the bill. I've just got a company that's going to take the van for me to the garage. One of these towing companies, what they're called, the Carfy, is it? Anyway, they're 120 quid. Put it on back of a low loader and take it down to the garage. So I didn't think it was that bad, to be honest with you. I thought it's quite reasonable. So that's, yeah, costing me already. Damn thing. Right, slight angle, not too much. I'm still seeing dips in it. What can you do? Wasn't me that cocked the wall up in the first place. And of course, I've got some now, which I've brought off, which will have been the high spots. So I've got a low spot there. What I can do, just get that off there and pop it into my low spot. And it's a bit like when you're floating a wall, you know. You have your low spots and you get a bit off your derby or your feather edge and you put it onto that low spot, go over it again, and eventually that low spot's gone. So that's kind of what we're doing here with the finish. Oh, it's a big one. There we go, we're starting to lose it now. The dip, that is, not my mentality. Little bit there. But see, doing this, you know, it's not flying through and like get it banged on, we've got to get it done. You know, this is taking me time, getting it spot on. And that's what it's about. That's what the craftsman is about. It's plumbing horrible out there. It's terrible. Right, so we're about to start giving it its first wipe. We're going to go with the Flex. And a quick hello to Richard. Not giving out surnames, not unless you ask me to. You'll know who you are. He's busy line pointing a 1930s something property. So hope you've had a great day with your line pointing and the weather is not too bad for you. Unlike here. Right, let's start troweling this wall up. And action. A bit like one of those clipperboard things, that, wasn't it? You know, like they have on the old movie channels. Right. The first wipe, plenty of water on it. Nice big sweeps. Something I normally do when I'm skimming to a dry ceiling or a dry wall is I go around the perimeter with a brush and wet it up. However, I forgot to do that today. That's probably because I was busy talking to you. Well, it's your fault, you know, me rabbiting on. A sandwich and a cup of tea later, and we're going to give it a final bounce with this plastic trowel. See if it makes any difference whatsoever. Feels nice on the wall. Of course, I was always taught that when you're giving it that final wipe, that bounce or polish, whichever you prefer terminology-wise, always go across straight from one end to the other. Not random, just straight from one end to the other. Lovely. Gorgeous, huh? Yes, I'm definitely impressed with the plastic finishing trowel. I think personally, trowel up with my lay-on trowel or a flexi or a semi-flex. Let it pull in, and then just use this for that final wipe. Now, maybe that's what you're supposed to do. If somebody would like to let me know in the comments, I'd be very grateful. You know, I'm a highly experienced plasterer, but I've never used one. New technology and all that kind of stuff, isn't it? So yeah, I'd appreciate somebody letting me know if I've gone about it the right way there. I'll certainly be getting some more. As you get them all different sizes. So I'll get a couple of them. Just don't tell the missus I'm buying more tools. All right, buying a new Hoover, but don't buy a new trowel. You get that? Yeah. Right, anyway, so we're going to leave you here for this week. I don't want to bore you to death with weeks and weeks and weeks of me just skimming walls. And we've got coming up very shortly, well, probably next week's video, to be quite honest, back on the line pointing. Just depends on the weather, of course. I mean, at the moment, we're in the middle of a North Atlantic low, and outside it's gale force winds and absolutely pelting it down. So I couldn't be out pointing if I wanted. Right, so look out for that one. We're going to be on the back on the Trollboat Cottage. Now, that was, for those that don't know, of course, that was in 1864, the Trollboat Inn. And it was a little inn, little pub, you know, in between what was Lytham and the new town, Blackpool. There was nothing in between, and now there is. It's St Anne's, as in Lytham St Anne's, only it was St Anne's on the sea originally. So that's what we're doing. We're back on that cottage now. There are plenty of videos on the channel of me working on the Trollboat Cottage, from stripping paint to doing stonework to pointing. There is all sorts on there about it. So have a rummage through and see what you can See what you can find to watch. Yeah. So I'll leave you for today. And as usual, if you've enjoyed the video, give it that thumbs up, that very, very, very important thumbs up. In fact, even if you've hated the video, give us a thumbs up. We need to start building up the channel more now, get more people enjoying what we do. We're becoming very popular. The ones that have subscribed seem to be enjoying the videos that I'm putting out. And if you've not subscribed, please subscribe. Give it the button, subscribe. It's easy. You don't have to pay. You just go like that. It's subscribed. Very simple. Even I do it with other channels. I'm bing, bing, it's done. So simple. So yeah, subscribe if you haven't done as yet. Right, I'll stop waffling on because I really need to earn some pennies. And we will see you next week for another episode of Buggering About with Old Buildings.